Go ahead and say that again into the microphone.
Sure. There was a restaurant in Highland, Indiana, for many years. The name of the restaurant was That Oriental Place. It's no longer there.
No. So, like, they watched That 70s Show.
This was probably pre That 70s Show.
Pre-That 70s
It was the idea, like the joke
Oriental
of,
Place.
The joke of where do you want to eat for dinner?
Yeah.
Same as That 70s Show.
It's like a bunch of racists in the car going, I don't know, what do you want to eat? Well, let's go to That Oriental Place.
It's weird because I don't know when that term went out of acceptable usage. Because at some point,
But I want to go back in time to before that happened.
I want to be able to describe somebody as a crippled, retarded Oriental. What's wrong with that?
The reason is because when he puts it in dating profiles is what he's looking for.
I want people to see my dating profile instead of it being red flagged.
Turn-ons include turn-offs.
Yeah. There's a
Turn-offs.
there's an organization. I wish I remembered what their organization was now, but it used to be called ARC, the Association for Retarded Children.
Okay.
You know about this, right?
Then they're like, we've got to change it. We've got to change it.
We have to change it. Who would call it this?
NAMBLA.
No, it changed to NARC, the National Association.
It was retarded citizens.
Yeah. I think it went
just
children to citizens and then added a national at the beginning of it. And this was in like 1992.
Quick, I've got an idea. We bury it with other words. We put more words in. So if we skip over the... it's the National Association of Retarded Citizens.
They changed it twice and both times kept retarded. Which is so funny.
You're not pronouncing it correctly. The way they do it is the National Association of Retarded Children Citizens.
Are we keeping this Oriental retarded stuff?
I think here's the thing is like we're not saying as like that's who we are. You know what I mean? We're saying it as like someone inappropriate saying it. Well, we know that it's wrong.
And the organization he's talking about, that's an actual situation that happened, which I think is hilarious.
I would like to throw out one more Brad Rohrer dating profile thing that he has on.
Yes, please.
He wrote...
I wrote a dating profile for you because you did it for me.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I like that you turn to your coffee cup as though it's written on the coffee cup. You're like,
pull it up. I want to hear it.
I feel like, did I write it to you and be like, is he going to get mad at this?
Probably.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I think it would be
Brad's
fun.
dating profile.
On Brad's dating profile, I believe it does say now that the joke is so old it doesn't matter, and
That's
I'm
all right.
just forcing it, which is also something that says on your profile. It says, not interested in red flags, very interested in white flags. So dumb. So dumb.
I wrote this when you did the dating thing.
Yeah.
So I haven't done like a rewrite pass or really finish it. Should I just read it cold? And because I don't remember it.
Yeah, have fun with it.
All right. I hope it doesn't upset you.
Yes.
Because I really don't remember this.
Okay.
I wrote Ray's dating app, and this is so so I found Ray's dating app. I was on Tinder and I looked and I found Ray's dating app.
My old one before I was married, before the app existed?
No, you're married in this one.
Okay.
No, it's not one of those.
Oh, all right.
It's you'll see.
All right.
All right, this is what it says, and I haven't read this since I wrote this. So this is
first pass vomit draft.
This is first draft theater. As
Okay.
we talked about. Hello, I'm Ray Harrington. I want to say this up front. I'm happily married with a beautiful wife and a wonderful son. I'm not looking for a romantic relationship, so any interested women and men can piss off. The only reason I'm on here is because I have a friend who shall remain nameless, and his fun single life has made me insanely jealous.
Brad.
It's gotten to the point where I will call him and talk to him about an hour about the newest Lego set I built. And if he starts to tell me about one of his new sex tales, I say, oh, look at the time. I have to go to bed.
I'm going to put that in my back pocket.
The next night, I'll call him and talk to him 90 minutes about a specific episode of a TV show he's never seen. It's a really weird show, too. About a German time traveler or something who goes back in time to become God or bang God or something with God.
No.
Anyway.
Okay, so what you need to understand.
Anyway, this virile young man is so kind and he cares for me so much that he will indulge me and listen carefully the entire time. But then he'll say, so I went on a date this weekend, and I'll say, I really got to go to bed in 2 minutes. I know it's hurtful. I know it's unfair. So I want to get some of those sweet, sweet swipes so I can at least say, hey, girls like me too, and maybe have more of a friendship. So number one, please ignore my appearance. I have to imagine women are ignoring my friend's appearance because this guy is a monster.
I love how the running joke, real quick, is that we'll often do a running joke of your narcissism. And I like how your thing of like, this is your dating profile and it's mostly just about you. Well, and the interact. I'm assuming, and maybe it's a different friend. I don't know.
I have to imagine women are ignoring my friend's appearance because this guy is a monster. Remember the Universal monsters? They were all spooked by this guy, even the Frankenstein. So all you ladies can look past his face, then you can look past mine. And that's all I wrote so far. But I thought that was funny.
That is good.
It was making me. It's funny because in recent episodes we brought up the time travel show.
Yeah. No, that is fun.
It was a funny coincidence.
Yeah. I do like that.
That totally slipped my mind.
That's great. I will open the episode.
Oh yes, right.
Hello and welcome to another episode of
That
Funbearable.
Oriental podcast. Hey, it came from you.
I am Brad Rohrer. It did not come from me.
I learned it from you.
What are they going to do with that Scotch tape? Hi, I'm Ray Harrington.
I'm Chuck Staten.
And can we all make a concerted effort from now on? Because I think what we've started is a bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the no start?
The no start being really long.
Yeah.
I think we had a good thing going for a little while there where we would do a little run up, but like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
This
and
one
then
wasn't
go
bad.
Right into, this one was good. This was tighter.
Yeah.
But it's still loosey.
Yep.
Well, when Brad is like we're right as we're pressing record, he's like,
I used to go to a restaurant called That Oriental Place.
I only went there once.
it's tough to not.
You went there once, and
went there
why
once.
wouldn't you go back?
Because of the food. No, I honestly,
There's no cheese here.
yeah, I didn't eat Chinese food until I was like 17 or 18 years old because my parents were not interested. They're like, no, you're going to have
Same thing with broccoli.
You're going to have crock pot chicken, broccoli, 17th birthday.
You know what we should do?
It's a very, very odd surprise.
And your parents always said that fried rice was the devil's rice.
No, to be fair, I don't know that I had rice.
They called it
at this point in my life.
called it that Oriental rice.
Everything there is Oriental.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the phrase Oriental?
I mean,
It's from the Orient.
a lot
know.
of
But
people have talked about the whole like China man from China, Orient. You know, it's tough.
It is tough. Like my great grandmother would say like that Oriental man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would be like, but also like, yeah, but you knew people that fought in the Civil fucking War.
Yeah.
You're from an old time. You know, when that was genuinely just like, but that's what you say.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. It is difficult.
Yeah.
This is the thing that I think is really funny for humans to try to adapt to is like how tied are people to just what I knew, what I grew up with.
Right.
And like I think a lot of like progressive society stuff is telling people that they have to move forward. And so you try to be a good person and do that.
Yeah.
But there is, I mean, we use the word retarded at the beginning of this podcast and talking about that organization.
Right.
And it is like you want to make those progressive changes, but there is always going to be kind of a conflicted part of you that's just like,
Yeah.
but I grew up and it meant this thing and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And society has to progress.
But I think a lot of that too, I think when we talk about it in those terms,
Yeah.
we're in such a serious place right now. When we talk about it in those terms, I think what we're talking about there is a certain ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in like, you're ignorant,
Yeah.
like in a down
Yes.
way. I mean ignorance literally.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
unaware of the other aspect of it.
Right.
Right. And I think a lot of people are like, I think now most people understand like, yeah, maybe don't say gay when you mean like
Bad.
dumb or
Yeah.
bad or something like that.
yeah.
I think we all pretty much get it. But I do remember when the conversation started to turn, what I often heard was like, but I don't mean it that way.
Right.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? That was often the defense. And it's like, I understand and appreciate that you don't mean it that way. But what I'm asking you to do is understand and appreciate that for certain people, they only know it as being meant that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
of
And it
course.
is
I mean,
difficult. It's a hard one.
It's a very weird thing because I think of people do hold on to stuff like this kind of stuff is really easy to talk about in black and white, where it's like, well, this is hurtful to this person, so don't say it.
Mulatto, please.
And
Tuxedo cat, please.
and but there is some stuff like we were talking about. We were talking about the other day about your obsession with the Bears, and I think we brought up something else that had to do with you too. That's just like the way you grew up, and when there isn't a damaging part of it, that's clear. Like I use a racially insensitive phrase. When it is something that's just like weird behavior, it's so funny to see people holding on to it. But I think we all have that.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, except that none of my behavior is weird. You guys are the weird ones.
What's funny is like you're mostly weird.
Yeah.
You're more weird than normal.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we all kind of are.
Right.
Maybe not. I don't know.
On this podcast? Yeah. All three of us are weirdos. For sure.
But I do think
The
it's like,
problem is, individually, I think we can kind of blend in.
Right.
Kind of blend in.
That is the problem.
But the three of us
Well, just-
together, you're like, no.
we're like the aliens in Men in Black, where we are in society.
Yeah. I also think it's like the idea of if you take like a certain friend group where you have like the ugly one in the group, on their own, it's like they're fine.
Yeah.
They're perfectly average.
Yep.
But then you put them in the friend group where everybody else is like better looking. It's like, oh, they're the ugly one now.
Yeah.
I think that's what we are. Like we're the weird funny one in our individual groups, but
Yep.
then we get together and we all look at each other going, well, like, but I do that back to you.
Yeah.
And I do it to you and you do it to him.
Yeah.
I guess we'll all be weird uglies together. Welcome to Weird Uglies.
That weird ugly podcast.
Oh, Oriental, real quick.
Yes.
The only place it still exists, I think, in a weird way, is rugs.
Rug community.
I think the rug community is still like, nope. That's what they are.
Is it
I'll say
acceptable,
this:
that
my
community?
family will only get Occidental rugs.
It
a
is
weird
It is a
pull.
station.
Japanese rug, you piece of shit.
I do think you see Oriental rug.
I think Oriental rug is okay.
Yeah.
What would the other name be?
That's-
Would you just say Asian rug?
I have no idea.
That feels weird to me.
I mean, change always feels weird. That's kind of my point.
This is you going door to door to rug stores. Be like, look, we got to change it. We got to change this.
I would start that.
That is funny. I do. Here's the hard part though. Most rugs you will find probably are made in China, right? Or Vietnam are often, that's a place where a lot of things are often like made
Right.
factory wise, right? So aren't most rugs Oriental rugs?
Of the
Even
Orient.
though it's just like a plain blue rug, you'd be like,
Oh,
that's
I
an
see.
Oriental rug.
I think
'Cause
rugs
it
are
comes
Oriental
from
by
the
design.
Orient.
I'm going
I
to say
see.
ornamental rugs and let people think that I just misspoke.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty.
okay.
That's a good waffle.
Playing dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works.
Brad plays dumb
Yeah.
so good.
Thank you.
Well,
Me and Brad play dumb so good. That's a Chuck Staten sentence.
Except for me, it's authentic.
One of us isn't playing.
So this kind of speaks to one of the things I wanted to bring up today.
yeah, absolutely.
We had recently talked about VHS tapes and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking off the podcast.
What's the H stand for in VHS?
Video high frequency?
I was just thinking about it because it's like video cassette, like a VCR is a video cassette recorder.
Yeah.
But what does VHS stand for? Video home system?
That doesn't sound right.
No.
System is weird.
Yeah.
All right, I will say Google, I got what does VHS typed in. What does VHS stand for? Video home system.
Well, I guess it's not. You know
Thank
what?
you.
It's not a VHS. It's a VHS tape.
Yeah.
So a video,
Video
home system tape makes
That's
sense.
so crazy.
You know.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say we were talking off the podcast, and I mentioned
Which usually we do not do.
and I mentioned that when I was watching Comic Book Men,
Mm-hmm.
the TV show, like when it first aired in 2012, I did have like I enjoy it, and a lot of the items that came in, because Comic Book Men was originally designed as Pawn Stars in a comic book shop.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of collectibles, pop culture stuff. I found that interesting because the stuff was actually stuff on the show that I'd never seen before, because it's from an age that like predates mine.
Yeah.
But so many of the people, on the show, the guys the Tell 'em Steve Dave guys that I work with, they would be like, "Oh, I remember this from when I was a kid. It's the Planet of the Apes treehouse. It's this. It's whatever."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, it's interesting." Like I remember thinking, and not in a critical way, just like, "Oh, it's interesting. They're so invested in toys from their childhood or things from their childhood," and I guess unconsciously, I knew, or subconsciously, I knew I would eventually get to that place.
It's interesting to hear you talk about it this way, as if you aren't that person.
Well, this was
Because I know you have a lot.
well,
of
it was
stuff.
it was 11 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was 20.
Yeah. So this was like your.
I was 27.
So this was like whoever offered like Amy Winehouse.
Our first drop of heroin.
Yeah, her first little taste of heroin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the florist at the end of the town. That's one of my favorite scenes ever. I love that. Your
like-
mother. I love that. Oh, it's the best. The town is so underrated. I think about it every day.
I think the town is
Every
rated.
day?
No, no
I
one.
think it's rated.
I think the town. No, because the town is better than so many crime. Like, is the town like Departed has an Oscar?
Yeah.
And the town might be more structurally sound than Departed, but I love The Departed too.
The Departed is different. It's like it's
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah.
a different thing.
I think it
you
is,
know?
but I also think they live in the same space, and I think the town might be a better movie overall.
Okay. Hey, personal opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
right? I like both movies.
I like both movies too.
Yeah.
But did you ever see the alternate ending of the town?
No.
Fuck your mother. He gets killed.
What?
Crazy.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Was that Ben Affleck? Is that your voice? Your Ben Affleck voice?
in the town.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought that was a leprechaun.
So
yeah,
anyway,
Leprechaun
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah, I thought it was the leprechaun
The
that
Leprechaun
shows up.
has a nun mask on,
Yeah, it's
takes
Warwick
it off.
Davis.
Boom.
I don't want to spoil it. I'll
Fuck your mother.
I'll tell you afterwards. Yes.
Want me gold?
Ooh,
So I think-
leprechaun heist.
I think at 20.
I'm in.
Trademark.
I think at 27, I didn't have any context for that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now we've been talking about VHS tapes. We've been talking about this kind of stuff, and I've come a little bit more around. Like I'm someone who still, I think,
Legally, I think you have. Yeah.
well, this is an interesting thing that we haven't really explored in this podcast. You know how there is like an old man, things were better when kind of
Sure.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, do you
Some
guys?
podcasts are just that.
Do you feel like you try to make a concerted effort not to be that person? Because I feel like I do.
Yeah, I think I can catch myself sometimes feeling that.
Me too.
And wanting to pull away from it. Like part of me wonders when I'm always like banging the drum of no mid-budget comedies.
Right.
Right. We've talked about that in the recent past.
Yeah.
I worry that I'm like, am I just not understanding or not accepting?
The change in media.
Yeah, that this is evolving, ever
Right.
evolving.
I think that too.
Yeah, here's the problem. We are in a unique space, being the ages we are.
We are.
More two of us than three of us.
Yeah.
No offense,
It's all right. I know.
sir.
I know how old I am.
That's for now.
Right.
You're at an age where that might start
it's
slipping.
slipping.
Yeah.
And if Frank keeps doing his Afrin,
I'm gonna forget my own name. Yeah, but I'll be able to breathe. I don't know who I am.
I'm Brad.
Yeah. Oh man, that's such a great joke that Eddie Pepitone has. Eddie Pepitone has a great joke about like an angry Alzheimer's patient going, "Hey, do you know where the fuck I am?"
That's funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
But no, I do think there's an issue here, which is when we look at nostalgia-based stuff
Yeah.
at the ages we are,
Yeah.
frontline millennials, right?
Tail end Gen Xers.
Oh, I love
The worst.
millennial front lines. That's what
I always
we
joke
get
about
shot
that. I'm like,
first.
I was
We're gonna get
on the
killed
front
first.
lines of millennialism,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm a first generation millennial. That's one of my
What's
jokes.
the oldest millennial? How old are you? 83?
83 or
It's
82?
82.
82 is the
Yeah.
oldest, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm 83.
Wow.
Years old.
84.
84 years old.
Late 84.
Late 84.
Well,
Late
late is stretching it. I guess you're past the halfway point,
I think I'm late.
but barely. You're
Okay.
mid 84, and
Just end the sentence
and
there.
you're mid.
You're mid.
You're mid.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds off when it comes out of your
It
mouth.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
Ooh.
Well,
You know
that's
what's funny?
because I'm the rear
Yeah.
vanguard
It
of Gen
tastes
X.
wrong.
I was
Yeah.
talking to someone on the phone last night, and I was like, "You're way older than me," and I wasn't really thinking about it. And she was like, "I'm only like 6 months older than you," and I go, "No," and I did the math, and I go, "You're 7 months older." But here's the thing: that was the joke to me, and she goes, "No," as if it made a difference at all.
Well, to be fair, you were talking to someone. You often pull from the dating pool of the National Association. I will leave it there.
Certain citizens.
It's now called the Arc of the United States.
Oh, okay.
But it's
Yeah.
since 1992. That's what it's been called.
What is it? What is that? What does it stand for?
It doesn't stand for anything. Just don't pay attention to the fact that it's spelled ARC.
Yep.
Brad changes it to the National Association of Certain Citizens or specific citizens.
Of those citizens.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, wink. No, I do think that the issue there is really the separation of there is a weird concrete rebar infused line
Okay.
in the sand of time,
Yeah.
pre-internet and post-internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our childhoods are from before that. And now we live in the post times. We saw the internet grow as we grew,
Yeah.
but like the real internet change was probably the smartphone. That's when everything
Yeah.
Yeah.
turned, when you could now carry it in your pocket and didn't have to go to that desk in
Right.
your house
Yeah.
to access it. Social
Right.
media exploded then. It existed pre-smartphone, social media,
Yep.
but it didn't explode until post-smartphone.
Right.
Right.
Once you could put the web in your pocket, it was over.
Yeah.
We were fucked. We were done. So my thing is, like, I was talking about this a little while ago, like that 70s show. We've been saying that something, right?
Right.
That 70s show, there's a certain nostalgia to it now. People are growing into a nostalgia for it, the way people have for like Friends right now. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I think it's probably because it's that generation's Friends. It was that show they all watched when you could still all watch a show.
Right.
And I think we have more in common with the childhoods of general 70s kids than we do with a 16-year-old in 2023.
Probably.
I think
Yeah.
we can look at that childhood and
Yeah.
understand it.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
can look at the childhood that is now and be like, that's foreign to me.
Right.
I agree with
I
that.
do think that's a thing. And I think there's a part of nostalgia that is for our generation that's pulling from a genuine before time. So like you said, you worry about being the old man, like things were better before.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. I deep down think that like if we're talking pre and post internet, things were better before.
I agree with that in general.
Yeah.
But what I see, and this is just like a microcosm, is I belong to all these like Ninja Turtle Facebook groups, right? Specifically because the reason I belong to them is actually because we promoted podcasts where
Yep.
we had voice actors and stuff.
Yeah. And
so,
you fell in like a Q level kind of thing. You fell in with the
Yeah.
political aspect
Yeah,
of them
yeah.
hard.
But people, and I don't know if you know about this because I didn't know about this until I saw it started posting up. People that are Turtles like fans are so like divided over the new movie that came out this year. And a big part of it is like people are saying it's a different story. They're not staying true to whatever. People are mad that April is black.
Oh, yeah.
Or mixed race, or I don't know whatever. I don't
Yeah.
even think about it, by the way,
Right.
when I
Right,
look
right,
at it.
yeah.
But people are like mad about that, and when I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And that's
Yeah.
what I don't want to be.
That's when, yeah,
Right.
that's where we get into like the dipshits that were infuriated that we saw a black stormtrooper,
Yep.
right? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so when I think about that, like I try to make sure that I stay open to current media.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons that like I'd rather be like, oh, the new Paranormal Activity might be good, because I don't want to be the person that's like, no, it's going to be bad. Paranormal Activity 7, please. Let's watch Friday the 13th part 7. Like, I don't want to be that person.
Sure.
Because I think that I don't want to be like, oh, this was good because it was part of my youth. This is bad because it's not. But my point is, we were talking about VHS tapes, all this stuff. I've begun collecting vinyl, and I'm like, I think this is a fun representation of the albums that I love. I do a little bit of VHS stuff, but mostly just Halloween and Christmas, and I put it up around that time, kind of because it reminds me of, my youth in holidays and everything.
Yeah.
And I've started to get laser discs too, even though I never had a personal connection to laser discs. I think it's like a fun, big novelty display of the things I love. Like I got the Die Hard special edition laser disc that
fun,
opens up
oddity.
and it has exactly. But I wonder about that having a presence in your life and the idea of, I guess, revisiting your childhood or the things that you love in a healthy way that is positive.
Yeah,
like we talked about the
yeah.
VHS shadow box idea that you had a while back. And I kind of think about that and I'm like, how much of that is appropriate? How much of that is, you know what I mean? Because like
in that particular case, what I want to do is like, hey, I realized that this had such a deep connection to my childhood and what's important to me and what I want to strive to create myself.
Yeah.
I want to make things deep down that 13-year-old kid would have been so pumped to hold as a VHS. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Doing Be a Man, the documentary, like I banged like on and on about what I wanted the feeling of the movie to be. Right. Which is so hard to like manufacture. How do you create that in a documentary? I want it to feel this way. Because some of it is pacing, some of it is other things, what to put in, what to keep in, what to take out, and all that stuff, how you structure certain things. But it is hard to describe like, oh, it's simple. You cut this here and cut that there, and it creates a feeling, right?
Right.
But what I wanted was the feeling. I described this to my editor and like everybody else when we were in the post process. Like, I want it to feel like the movie that you pull when you are homesick. From work or school or whatever, that feel good, comfort food show or whatever it is. I want that feeling for this documentary. And I think we achieved that to a degree, right? I'm happy with what that is. But for this, I want that VHS tape. I want one framed in an artful, clean way. That's like nice and minimal. Put it on the wall. That represents my love for that thing. What I don't want is shelf after shelf of VHS tapes. I don't want that.
See,
and I recognize that.
See, this is what's interesting to me is I do I have gone to different places, specifically coffee shops, where there's a lot of wood and a lot of open space, plants, and kind of a lot of like retro items. Julian's in Providence is actually a pretty good example in the bathroom where they actually have a big shelf behind glass and it has all like G.I. Joes, all of them just lined up. It's very spaced out specifically. And I'm like, man, how do you cultivate the kind of things that like have that feeling in your house and include that? Because to me,
and here's the hard part, without it tipping towards, you just got a bunch of shit.
That's what I'm saying.
A whole bunch of, it's all chaos.
That's what I'm saying. Is
that's
like
really hard.
The in between.
One of the things Chuck and I have talked about over this past summer has been the idea of having your home decorated in a way that brings you joy.
Yes.
And to me, I'm like, I'm still renting. And now granted, I've been renting the same place for 12 or 13 years at this point. And I'm like, this isn't my place. I don't own this place. This, like I'll put some stuff up, but I'm not painting the walls. I'm not decorating this the way I would like truly love to have because it's not mine.
And when he says some stuff, he means 90% of his wall space is empty.
Yeah. I have a painting that a red panda did. It walked down its little canvas. And I have the Shawshank Redemption thing that Chuck got me 10 years ago.
Where's that red panda from?
The Oregon Zoo.
Oh.
The Oregon
National
Zoo.
Association for Red Pandas.
Oh.
NARP.
Red citizens.
I have a Funbearable print that a fan did, and then in the other room, it's the Bears Super Bowl Shuffle record that was a gift from a friend. I have a picture that Chuck and I took in the portrait studio at Walmart in 2008. Jetty Bones lyrics on, but it's it's tan walls, like not a lot of stuff, and so the idea of getting stuff to display has never been something I've sought out. The idea of like, oh, I'm going to get a lot of VHSs. I don't decorate for holidays. It's a very boring home, but that is by design because I'm like, well, this isn't my home. I just happen to have lived here for 12 years, for a quarter of my life.
This is the issue.
That is troublesome. Yeah.
See, this is one of the things we talked about a lot recently. And it's funny because sometimes I'll bring up something to Brad and he'll take it as an attack so quick.
Oh, well, that's because Chuck phrases it as an attack. He's like, don't you think it's stupid? The way that you, a stupid person, view this thing?
No.
Oh, yeah. No, I see that 100%.
No, not at all. Because
one of my favorite things that you say sometimes that drives me fucking bananas is you will say, like in a conversation, like if we're working on something like with the project that we were working on, and I am so glad this came up because we can use this constructively and positively, maybe, or we'll cut it all. Craig, get ready on that button. Is sometimes you'll go, well, something that you guys may have not have realized is that blah, 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 or so, like you phrase it like, you guys are a couple of idiots and I'm the only one that thought of this, but blah, 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 blah. You do have a hat.
To be fair, I probably haven't thought of it.
Oh, well, then maybe, say it to him then.
Yeah. Well, like, we're talking about looking back at media that meant a lot to us in our youth, or toys that meant a lot to us in our youth. And I don't know that I was a conscious consumer of media when I was
sure
in those formative years. Like the movie I've watched the most in my life is quite possibly Rocky IV, which is...
And you're rooting for the other guy.
Yeah. Well, honestly, Rocky IV, if you watch it now, it's like 7 music videos loosely tied together.
Yeah.
It's
and
not
a robot.
Yeah. It's not a well done film.
I mean, a robot butler.
The robot, yeah, it's pretty great.
Let's talk about the
and so, but the idea of like, all right, I want this toy but I'm like, what toy do I associate with my childhood? Like, is it a GoBot? Is it a Transformer? Like, I didn't have like.
I think if you don't have the feeling, then you don't have the feeling.
And see, that's a tough one too. Like, I think it's hard where you're like, oh, what toy represents? Because that goes more towards something we've talked about previously. That idea of like 80s and 90s kids being the first like preyed upon with pop culture stuff. To that idea of like, what do I want to represent?
Right.
A good example is there's a show that was like super important to me growing up. I love it to this day. Red Dwarf.
Yes.
It's a BBC sci-fi comedy show. I adored it. Like growing up, I found it on PBS late at night. My mom showed it to me. I got to stay up late and watch that. I was in like 4th grade.
Yep.
I didn't understand shit.
Nope.
I was just like, this is weird and I love it.
Yep.
And it became that magical thing because it wasn't on the air here.
Yeah.
You couldn't get it anywhere.
Right.
And this is you can just download shit.
Yep.
So it was like really trying to find stuff. And I remember being like in middle school and it being a big deal that the new season was going to air during the PBS drive, the donation drive thing.
Yep.
And it's like, we're going to see the whole season. We had the VHS, we had the VCR ready to record it so we could watch it. It's the only way we could get the show.
Yeah.
And so it was super important to me. So in this comedy career stuff, whenever like a big thing happens, I like to commemorate it with some kind of object.
Right.
I like to kind of put that into a thing and go, look, that's from that moment. Because so much of the big moments are ethereal. They don't have like a specific thing. It's not like I'm in the corner office now.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I did this.
Yeah.
So
You're doing stand up in the office for just the boss. You're
right,
like,
yeah. Hey,
funny snow globes are weird.
remember when you showed us your penis during the Christmas party? And that's how I got that corner office.
Yeah.
No,
You called it a red dwarf?
yeah, very weird, very weird. No, so like when I first signed a deal with Stand Up Records
Right.
and the first album went out, I bought a replica hoverboard, the
Right.
limited release that Mattel did.
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
and I was like, good excuse to buy the thing I'd like.
Right.
Yeah.
And I still have it. It sits on a wall, and I'm like, yeah, that's my hoverboard. I love Back to the Future. It also represents, oh yeah, I remember I did that when this thing happened, right? So one of the things I got, I believe it was Be a Man, when Be a Man, when we sold to Hulu.
Right.
I was like, holy shit, this little thing that we made for like $5,000 is now on Hulu.
Yeah.
And they bought it. It wasn't like some Amazon property where you just like put it up and you get like a penny. So it was a big deal to me. So I was like, I need to get a thing, and I started thinking about it, and I started looking for Red Dwarf stuff, and I found from Germany.
Okay.
Right? Maybe Sabrina knows this person. You all know each other.
Yeah.
I found a guy who had 2 little like 1-inch square pieces of one of the models for the Red Dwarf.
Oh, wow.
The spaceship.
Oh yeah.
And it's from the model that they blew up in season 4. And they just had these
That's
2
amazing.
pieces with a certificate of authenticity. The frame was garbage, but I bought the thing. It was like $80. I
Yeah.
couldn't fucking believe it.
Yeah.
It was some collector in Germany who
Yeah.
had it. I got the pieces. I took them out of the frame. I made my own like little backing card that is the picture of the spaceship.
Yep.
It says Red Dwarf. It says the episode that it's
Oh.
from.
Yeah.
And then I put the certificate of authenticity behind that.
Yes, of course.
Framed the shadow box, and that's on my wall.
Yeah.
So would I be happy with an actual like toy of the ship? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would I be happy with one of our Fun Bears, one of our wonderful listeners, is into 3D printing and has 3D printed the Starbug, which is the other ship in the
Right.
show.
Yeah.
And at some point we'll get it to me. I look forward to that. That'll be nice. And I will display it and I'll be happy with it.
Yeah.
But I don't want too much.
Yeah. Well,
Because then it just turns into like there's all this shit.
Yeah.
This is the thing that's interesting. So one of the things I have is like one of my favorite possessions. I love the Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episode.
Yeah, yeah.
And from I think it's the 4th one or the 5th one, the one with groundskeeper Willie as Freddy Krueger. I have one of the scripts from the table read,
That's great.
which is
Yeah.
in a shadow box, and I made a backing thing that says Simpsons Treehouse of
Yeah.
Horror, and I put the figure of groundskeeper Willie as Freddy Krueger in the shadow box.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And like that stuff is like awesome.
Yeah.
But
and that's nice. I think, you know what a lot of this comes down to? A lot of this comes down to at some point you have to go from putting your posters up on your wall to putting some stuff in frames
Right.
and putting that up on the wall.
Yep.
So-
I think that's a part of it,
So yeah, this is interesting, this whole decorating thing. And the reason it wasn't you're a stupid person with all this stuff is because I was actually talking about the fact that in New York, my apartment doesn't have stuff on the walls.
You have an
And-
apartment in New York?
Oh, he's never mentioned it.
And I was like,
Oh,
easy to get to.
Staten Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to say it's easy to get to the one in New York from Staten Island.
so I was like, my question to him was like, are we doing ourselves a disservice by not making our homes a place? Like when I walk into a coffee shop that feels really cool and
Right,
curated,
right, yeah.
I'm like, this feels good.
Yeah.
And so I'm knowingly not doing that where I spend the most of my time.
Sure, yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that an
I
interesting?
totally get that. Yeah.
So that was the question. It wasn't really about just
Yeah.
Brad. It was
Yeah.
also about New York, where because my house in Rhode Island has a lot more stuff because I was there for a longer time.
yeah.
And so in New York, I don't have anything on the walls, and I'm like, am I negatively affecting how happy I
Right,
could
right.
be or
Yeah.
how
I
comfortable
mean, you do have
I could
that
be?
giant cursed painting of the little boy.
Yeah, I know, but
Ugh.
it's not even hung up yet.
I know,
I
but
gotta
it's
hang it up.
terrifying.
But the question
Yeah.
kind of, I guess for me, I'm like,
You know what's weird? Every time he comes,
Yeah.
the little boy looks younger.
no, when I'm here, someone went to my apartment, the little boy's not in the painting.
Oh my God. I believe the new story is called Hoary and Gray.
But I am wondering, like,
That was a compliment, not an insult. though.
I do wonder about the balance of like
Yeah.
putting up stuff you like, making sure it's cool. Like one of the things I really like in my kitchen
Mm-hmm.
in Rhode Island is if you look on top of my cupboards, I have like legit old tins from like classic foods.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
none
yeah.
of the new reprint shit, like actual old tins
Yeah.
from a long time ago. And I'm like, that's really fun. I have that huge
Vanilla wafers back when they were called white people cookies.
I have that huge print that's the cover of the old Cocoa Puffs thing
Oh,
in my
yeah,
kitchen.
yeah, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And I love that stuff, but I am thinking about this whole thing where I'm collecting laser
Yeah.
discs, I'm grabbing
It's tough.
records. I'm like, how do I make this feel cool
Here's
and
the
comfortable
problem.
and not just piled on top of each other?
That bathroom that you're using as an example with that, like, shelf of G.I. Joes, right?
Yeah.
Julian's.
The problem is like that stands out as cool and neat because it's clean and like organized, and it's that one thing. The hard part is like, yeah, that's cool, but like I also like this stuff. So then you put that over here. Oh, okay, great. But I like that over here. And then suddenly it's like, oh, this is just a fucking antique shop.
Oh, I was
going to
say Applebee's, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a Planet Hollywood.
It is.
You know?
It is a really funny balance because I mean, ultimately, I guess we'd all like, you have the piece of the Red Dwarf thing. I have the Simpsons script. You'd love for everything in your house to be that unique and singular. Right. But that is fucking impossible.
Yeah, and also that just turns it into a museum of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I struggle with it. Like in my office, I made a conscious effort to create like positivity on the walls.
Yeah,
right.
It's a weird thing because I was like, I spend a lot of time in here pursuing something that's extremely difficult to pursue. Yeah. Right. I'm sending out emails. I'm doing my thing, and I want to make sure I remember like why I love doing stand-up when this is probably where I will have the most frustration with stand-up. Right.
Exactly.
And so I decided like, okay, the wall over my desk, that's all positive comedy moments, right? So my Conan door nameplate, that's there.
Yep.
The Red Dwarf thing is there. I've got some, photos and things like that are things that mean something to me.
Right.
And then I have another wall with like posters that I really like the art that was done with them. Like this guy Mitchell Dunham has made some great posters for me in the past. I wanted those up, right?
Yep.
And then I've got some frames that are maybe 5 by 5 squares of like Instagram square photos.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
but it's like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, right?
Yeah.
And all of the photos that I've put in there
Yeah.
are all positive comedy moments.
Right.
So, here I am with friends in LA and we're doing a thing. And It's not even stand up. Like I'm not on stage, but it's because of stand up. Or here's a shot of whatever. All that stuff is there.
Yeah, and
it's
the
positive.
floor of the room is an ice floe from Alaska.
Yeah, because it means so much to me.
Alaska
Yeah.
Ray.
And I'm getting. And can I tell you, this summer with the heat,
Yeah.
Air conditioning bill.
the upkeep has been severe,
But worth it.
Yeah, and I have a Zamboni to clean it from the Hartford Whalers.
Whoa,
Isn't that
yeah.
exciting? Because
Yeah.
I love the Whalers.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about the stuff around your desk to keep you in a positive mindset as you pursue the thing.
Yep.
And right on mine is the poster from the first time that I had a screening of a movie. that
Yeah,
I directed
yeah.
with the ticket from that actual night.
Exactly, yeah.
I have sound dampening stuff around my desk for audiobook stuff.
So here's
Crying.
my question. Do we think that directly, like that decorating and cultivating your living space will increase your happiness level?
It's tough because sometimes I would say yes. Sometimes I would say yes. Like, that personal connection to the Red Dwarf thing, being in that frame. When I am conscious of it and aware of it and looking at it and knowing that and going, yeah, that's awesome. That does bring me joy. I also have to be honest and say it's been on my wall long enough.
That it's background.
It's background. And unless I'm consciously aware of it, I'm not really thinking about it. So it does lose some of the effect.
That's interesting.
And I think that's part of why a house can become a museum of stuff.
Right.
Because you keep looking for that zhuzh.
Yep.
I put out on the podcast a while back that I was looking at a way to, do a VHS in a frame.
Right.
Part of that is I just want that zhuzh for a minute. I want that feeling.
Yeah.
And
Something new,
eventually,
yeah.
months later, it's going to fade.
Yep.
And I'm going to be like, I'll stumble on another idea or I'll see an art image or something like that. I'm like, I want to get that,
But if you never have the thing, then all you ever have is the background.
Yeah.
So you never get even the spikes.
Right.
Which
I
has
just
to be...
don't want it to be a museum. I don't
Right.
want it to be a collection of shit.
Well, the question is, we're kind of talking about the idea of nothing or stuff. Mm-hmm. That's kind of my question. Because I've gone with nothing for the past couple of years because I've been so like work oriented that I haven't really been like, oh, let me think about my living space.
Right.
And
Well,
populate it with
that's
stuff I
tough too,
love.
because like what you're talking about is like the living room in that apartment in Staten Island.
And my bedroom, everything.
Yeah, but like I would look at that and go, you should have some stuff on the walls as a complete like finishing of that room.
Right.
Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
Like there's stuff.
That's what I mean, though.
Because
That's-
I care about those like media based things. My office has a ton of stuff. Like my office is where you're gonna find the hoverboard,
Right.
the Red Dwarf
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
That's where you're gonna find like I have a shelf with particular Lego builds that I'm like I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
got Lee Leshin got me Dominic Toretto's Dodge Charger
Yes,
Lego
that's
set.
cool, yeah.
I'm gonna build it. It's gonna go on the shelf. That's where my DeLorean is, and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's where my office is where I can have a little model of the Normandy from Mass Effect.
Yep.
Where I can put that there and go, look, that's special to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's where I can have like a little model of the Master Sword from Zelda.
Yeah.
The living room is
Yeah.
far more filtered.
Of
the
course.
living room, I don't have those little things. The most I think is like because Finn as an excuse, we can have
Right.
2 little models of Wallace and Gromit
Yep.
sitting on the mantle because Finn loved Wallace and Gromit, so I'm able to put my Wallace and Gromit.
I was gonna say having.
But no, it's Finn's
I was
for
gonna
sure.
say
It's Finn's.
having a kid really changes the.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, it's not for me. I love that.
That's how the Legos have gone. That's how I became somebody who builds Legos to like chill out.
Yeah,
is
I
because
know.
of him. But like there are only a couple of items in there that you can go. This is fully that. Like on our wall in our living room.
Yeah.
We have like there's one framed painting print from a Scottish artist that I love what it represents.
Yeah.
We came about it because it was heavily featured in Stuart Lee's last special.
Yeah.
But it's still art. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that isn't Stuart Lee, quote unquote. But
Right,
I can
right,
point
right.
at it and think of that as well.
Yeah.
And then we do have a large canvas print that is signed and numbered
Yeah.
from Fiona Staples. That's the cover of the first issue of Saga.
Yeah.
okay.
But
Yeah.
that's because like Kalina read it and loved it.
Yep.
I love it a lot.
Yep.
And like the image is cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So doing one again framed.
Yep.
And it's just this one. Like that's okay. You know what I mean?
Just-
I like the idea of.
real quick. You mentioned Stuart, and that
Yeah.
I just read a story about the movie Stuart Little, 1999 ish, and there was
Mouse.
was an art historian who was watching the movie, and he's like, that painting on the wall is like a lost Hungarian or Romanian masterpiece, and he's like,
From the Nazis.
he's like, no way can that be the actual painting. And he had only seen like a picture of the painting from
Yeah.
like a 1928 art catalog.
Now that's
But
Encyclopedia Brown.
But he's like, that's what it is. And so he like went on this mission to track down the painting and went through the
Wow.
props. 2 years later, the assistant props master's like, yeah, it's hanging up in my bathroom. And he's like, can we inspect it to see if it's actually like this lost painting? It sold for like $200,000, like back
Wow.
to its, again, I
Yeah.
don't remember which
That's amazing.
former SSR it went to, but
I love stories like that.
oh my gosh. And it's just because this guy was like watching a movie.
Yeah.
And has an encyclopedia memory. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, it's great.
That's great.
I love
Sorry,
something
sorry.
like
I
No,
know
no,
you were going to speak.
no
that was
apologies.
awesome.
Stuart,
No apologies.
Stuart and art.
Yeah.
That came to mind.
No, that was great.
Have you met Art Stewart?
It's funny.
John Stewart's brother?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to meet with the Stewarts. My parasocial relationship with them also
okay.
weird.
I understand.
Rod Stewart. Yeah, it's just funny. I mean, like to me, like vinyl and cassettes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like when I'm getting albums that were important to me, like that stuff feels like it makes sense. That
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
feels like an adult relationship
Yeah.
with art. But it is funny to kind of figure out how do you curate that. And I guess my question is, in general, how important is it to your life? Does it make your life
Sure,
better?
sure.
And I think the answer is probably yes. And I think the reason that people like Brad and I haven't done it is probably because of the effort and focus it takes to actually make it nice and organized and presentable like that has a nebulous effect that's hard to tell on
Right.
your psyche.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
it's-
tricky. I think I come from it from a different angle than you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I look at it like with the VHS tape, I'm like, this has a lot of meaning to me.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to manifest that in a way.
Yeah.
I want it to be clean. I want to put it in a frame. I want to just put it up there, and that's the thing that represents that.
Yep.
That's how I go for it, right? I want like the Red Dwarf thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love I would love a full like model
Yeah.
of one of the ships or a prop. I've always wanted a full-on prop. Now, granted, the two
Yeah.
pieces of the ship, that's prop-ish because
Yeah.
they were used.
Yeah.
But fuck me, I want a prop so bad.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that and Back to the Future, which
Yeah.
is difficult because it's so minute.
Right.
Versus a television show that went on for decades.
Right.
So it is a different thing, but I always try and find it that way. I always try and find something like, I want something to look good here, or I want it to represent this thing.
Right.
Let me find that versus I like these things and I like to collect them. Now, how do I display them? Which is a different thing,
Right.
right? Like the turtle hunt that you guys, for some reason, go on.
I'm there to get barbecue sandwiches.
We do.
From a specific place in Bellingham, Massachusetts.
Part of the so
You can't come if you don't do it in a certain order.
Okay, so
you got to
basically-
do turtle, barbecue, turtle,
just to
kiss.
fucking
da, 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 da.
just to explain to the listeners, for many years, Brad and I, and sometimes a third, sometimes a fourth person, Lou, our buddy John Shuchuk, we would go
Whoever they could con into it.
future Ray Harrington.
whoever fell asleep when we put the chloroform around.
Yeah.
On the beginning of October.
That's why I haven't gone, because you guys can't drag me into the
we
car.
can't reach. You're just too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I went with the fat version. You went
Oh,
with the
tall
tall
version.
version.
I always go with the tall version,
Oh,
but
the day that you guys figure out you can get on each other's shoulders, it's all over.
it's our bulging discs.
Yeah.
We're nervous. No, so towards the beginning of the month of October, Brad and I and someone else sometimes would go and look for all the Universal Monsters / Ninja Turtle mashup figures that came out in the mid to early 90s in all these different collectible shops around Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And we would do it all day. There would be some other like things we're looking for as well, like the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror figures, whatever. And one of the places we always go is Joff's, like Jeff with an O, Joff's Backyard Grill.
With a G?
J.
G-E-O?
Joff.
Like Jeff with an O.
Nope. Nope.
I love that.
Nope.
You're like, he must mean
Joff.
G-E.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Joff.
Joff. Like Joffrey
It's Joff.
from Toys R Us.
Sure.
That's his name.
Sure. Yeah. This is insane.
Joff's
I-
Backyard
Yeah,
Grill.
no, I'm upset by that.
So-
and I think that there should be an inspection of this restaurant right now.
And also, I want to say,
because if they're that loose with the name,
I wanna
what
send
are
this
they
to Craig.
doing with the goods?
I want to say this to Craig right now. There's a picture of Brad eating this insane hot dog. The picture is him looking at the hot dog, and it's so big and so covered in shit, like in like barbecue stuff. And he's like, his eyes are wide. And there's a picture of him afterwards with barbecue sauce all over his face, and he looks like
man.
he's seen a ghost.
It was. It may have been a foot-long hot dog with pulled pork as well and cheese on top of it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
something like that.
And
Yeah.
but his face is hilarious. Craig, I'm going to send you it. You're going to overlay it on this video.
Don't do it,
It's-
Craig. Don't
it's-
listen to him.
It's so funny, like the hot dog thing. This is a different topic
Yes.
and it's Seinfeldian. But I do love that in America, what we've done is we've gotten to a place for a long time where the hot dog has become the delivery system for
Yeah.
another full meal.
Yeah.
Where
Let's,
it's like,
I'm going to write down hot dog. We're going to put in a pin in it. We'll talk about it in 1 second. Because I want to have a talk about hot dogs.
oh God, we're never.
How far are we?
We're at 53.
We're okay.
I know. We're
So
just
Ray
never
still
gonna
owes
do-
us a story about a bad
He'll
show.
do the story.
You
So
know what? At some point, this debt will be so far out of place, like it would be inhumane for you to collect on it.
so we go on this turtle hunt and we look
Yeah.
around for these turtles, and I mean, just to
Where
maybe we'll post one of the, because we did do episodes about the Chuck and Brad podcast.
Yeah.
We actually did one where we recorded the whole hunt.
Oh, thank God.
So maybe we'll put it up in Halloween.
Thank
around
God. Now,
Halloween.
do you have to go to the Library of Congress to get the tape? Or-
So
I'm so excited about the joke. I fucked it up.
We would get these turtles. By the way, I did get all of them. Brad got me the last one for like Christmas for my birthday,
The last good gift I got him.
and I do have all of them.
There's a country song about that.
So we would do that, and so what Ray's kind of talking about is like me saying I have this feeling where I want to collect these things.
Yeah.
And the placement and how do we display them is a secondary thing. where Ray kind of thinks of the placement and how is this, it's not collecting things, it's getting one specific thing to
what
represent
can
a feeling.
What can I get to represent this, right? So for you, it's like I love these turtles from this era. I want to collect them, and I want to do it manually. I don't want to just go online and go on eBay and buy them. I want to find them. I want to do that, and that's great. And I think that's really cool.
Part of that is my cheapskate.
Okay.
A big part of it.
Most of it, yeah.
A lot of it.
You know what? I don't want to spend all that money. Instead, over a series of years,
Like 8 years.
I'm going to use all this gas money to drive around.
I think if seriously, if I made $300,000 next year, I still wouldn't be able to buy something online for a high price. I would have to go find it for a deal. I know that's in my blood.
I understand.
Yeah,
I absolutely
it's tough.
understand. But I like to try and find that object that represents it, right? I think that's where I am with it.
So how about collecting? Do you have any
Yeah.
collecting stuff? Do either of you have any collecting stuff?
No.
I don't really know.
You know what? I guess in as much as I collect anything, signed books by authors I care
you do
about.
collect that
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, I have like a comic book collection, but that collection is not like the box full of comics and you riffle and rifle and raffle through it.
I love that raffle.
I have like a series of books that I have collected that are either signed by like I have a Brian K. Vaughan like signed first issue like collection of all of his stuff, plus some other things. Plus I do like to grab the comic book issues that have like I've said this before, that have covers that have not aged well.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing for me. I think that's how I engage with that. I look at it like, wow, I could collect a lot of comic book stuff. So if I tell myself it's this, that's way easier for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
it limits it.
Part of this decorating your place and bringing happiness to your life with that, I think it goes hand in hand with me thinking about hobbies. Like you've started building Legos. Obviously, all three of us play video games. Those are just hobbies. It's not for productivity. But I think
not yet.
I think one of my hobbies is like collecting albums or collecting this. And, and I also struggle with how important that is. And I've put hobbies and interests on the back burner in favor of productivity and work for a long time at different periods. And this year, like 2023, especially in the winter, I was like, oh, maybe I should re-engage with stuff that is not work 100% of the time.
Sure.
And so that has made me re-engage with my hobbies a little bit.
Yeah.
And now I'm bringing in the decorating and making my space feel like it represents me and my interest in collecting for a hobby. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Combining
I'm trying to figure this thing out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's a weird thing.
Yeah, no, a good example of like combining those is I play guitar. I play acoustic guitar. And so I have 2 acoustics in my office now. I used to have more guitars, but I reconfigured things.
Right.
So I have like the guitar I play that sounds great. I really enjoy it. It's a J45 knockoff. It's great. Love it. Then I have this other guitar. It doesn't sound as good. It's kind of hollow sounding, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It feels a little less fun to play, but that's hard because the J45 feels great.
All
right?
of this is like going on a date with Brad.
What finger work is important?
Yes.
Yeah. And you can get a cramp.
Hollow sounding, doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
He's all there.
Calluses have been built up.
Yes.
He's only here because of that sexy look. Which is where you're going with the guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Because I have a hook on one wall where I'm like, right here, I'm going to hang that guitar.
I have that too.
It started with if I hang it, it's out of the case, I'll play it more. I still find myself reaching for the J45 more, though, because I enjoy playing it more. But I like that guitar being there. I bought the guitar because I liked the story behind it, and it's called the Westerly because it's from the Westerly factory that Guild used to have in Rhode Island.
Okay.
I'm like, that's cool. I like the backstory there. But so taking that hobby and creating a thing that I can put there that I like to look at, that's great. That's fun. As long as I'm doing it for the right reasons. I don't want to do it so somebody's like, oh, do you play guitar? Why, yes, I do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I did have to take it down during COVID.
Yeah.
Right? During the quarantine. I at that time I had a electric Fender Telecaster on that hook, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I took it down because I would do Zoom stuff, like
Oh.
interviews for my old podcast, Ray
Yep.
Harrington Must Content, and often somebody would be like, "Oh, what is that? Is that a telly? Do you play?" And we would have this conversation, and I was like, I'm not. It's not there because I need you to ask about it.
Right.
Oh, that's
it's there
funny.
because this
Right.
is where my computer is.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
hilarious.
Yeah, so I had to stop doing it because I was like, I don't want to have this conversation every time on
Right.
every episode
Yeah.
of the podcast. Where I'm like, yeah, I play, you know, I do a little bit, you know what I mean? I don't want that to happen. But yeah, it is a difficult one. It is hard being, you know, let's be the first to say it here at funbearable.com.
Funbearablepod.com.
Sorry, shit. Fuck. Damn it.
It's another URL we're going to have to buy.
Yeah.
Let's just say this now. Sometimes it's hard being an adult man in this world.
Why? What does that mean?
It's hard because we like our little boy toys.
I know.
And we want to show them and we want to collect them and we want to pick them up and play with them. We want one to play with and one to display, right? Keep it in the case. We don't want to touch it. I want all of it. I want all my little maquettes. I want my little displays. I want my little thing flying in the air.
You want to know? This is the way I really think about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I know inside my brain, my little
Your boy brain.
Yep.
I'm real Chuck. But the person who's represented has to be cool Chuck. So I can't do all the things that I want to put up. I can't build Bowser's airship and have it hanging from my ceiling in the corner
Yeah.
like I want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this is news to me too, because like what you're telling me is this is subdued
This
Chuck.
is restrained Chuck.
This is Chuck with some sort of knob turned down.
Yeah.
Well, when you go to, like, I'll put it this way. All the original Turtles, like the first, like, maybe 20, not
Yeah.
20, but maybe 13 Turtle figures have been reissued with all their original art. They're identical. And I own every single one, and they're in a drawer in my room. All the Mario toys, they finally put out Bowser's Castle, Bowser's Airship.
Yeah.
All this stuff.
Yeah.
All of it is in boxes in my closet.
Yeah.
All of it is aside, and I love it, and I have no idea in what way it could ever be in
Ooh,
public.
Yeah.
This is our thing. Quick, get the copywriting started.
Okay.
Copywriting started.
Yeah. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Yeah. 30 bite-sized karaoke.
We become the new Weird Al.
Oh.
The weirder Al. Right? The Weird Owls. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Owl's weird.
Yes.
And we do a parody of Eminem's Cleaning Out My Closet. But the whole song is about all these dumb toys that we want to keep, but
Yeah.
we can't, you know. And I also think it's interesting that we're talking about this in the three of our lives being different,
I
right?
accidentally looked up coffee writing.
Uh-oh.
It's not the,
I could see it.
not the same.
You are a single man.
I am.
You are a single man.
Probably forever.
I mean, we don't know.
Well, yeah.
It's where you look.
Yeah.
And the problem is
You're looking too high.
You're not
You
looking.
gotta look low.
You're not looking. And when you do glimpse,
Yep.
you're looking in the wrong direction.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I think you got to go.
I don't
to
understand the
things
metaphor.
that- What I'm saying is you need to go to places where Brad ladies would likely flock.
There's nowhere.
Is there a library
weird-
for math problems?
Yes.
Have you
Where
tried?
do ugly weirdos go?
No, that's rude. And you're just fishing for compliments, Brad.
We established at the beginning of the episode that we're weird uglies.
Yeah, but in a fun way.
Yeah, that's what
it's
I
fun when we
mean.
say we all are together, but when
Yeah.
you go, I'm a weird ugly, it's like, no, don't do that.
All right.
Because then it's not true. God damn it.
If it's all three of us, it's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's
Okay.
funny.
Because
Yeah.
it's a goof.
It's
Yeah.
a goof, yeah. Like if we're like the three of us, we're fucking slob idiots, right? It's like, oh, that's fun, haha.
Two of us are.
You know, but then if you go, I'm an idiot and I'm a slob,
Yep.
then it's like, hey, buddy, it's okay.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Have you thought about maybe perusing the dialysis center?
Okay.
Maybe go in, check out some weak gals.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They're tired. They're
Yes.
so tired.
I'm tired all
You're
the
tired
time.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they would love to meet your cat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Bring the cat with you. That's how you meet somebody.
Oh.
Get Rosie trained to be like a caring cat
Yeah.
that shows up at a burn unit. Or
Yeah,
something
okay, yeah,
like
burn
that.
unit, burn victims. That makes me feel better that
No.
you equate me with
No,
burn
not
victims.
visually. I'm speaking
I think
only
you-
because they are quiet. They aren't very active. All right, and they are slowly getting
Remember
better.
the video from Metallica's One? The guy who stepped on a landmine? That's who you should meet.
No, that's
Ray
not what I'm
thinks you should
saying.
date at a burn unit. I don't think that's right. I think
you.
you could get a second degree easy.
No, I'm saying
I think
go
you
to
should go to
places-
Walmart and just hang out.
Oh no, you'll never meet somebody at Walmart.
Yeah.
I don't think you should find somebody at Walmart.
I don't think I should either.
If we're talking a retail store, where would be a good one for Brad? Oh,
Warby Parker.
Warby Parker, maybe a
Is it
Lens
glasses?
Crafters, maybe, or something
Yeah.
like that. How about? You know where I think you would excel?
This isn't going to hurt my feelings.
No, it won't. Maybe like a cell phone store.
Oh, okay.
Where somebody's not sure how to use the system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you
gotta
show them how to
leverage-
do
You got to
that.
leverage
I
your
just,
knowledge.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I do like knowledge.
What about medical? I don't know why I keep going there, but like a medical like accessory store. You know what I'm talking about? Where you, like it's a store that sells like crutches and wheelchairs. They sell wheelchairs.
Yeah.
They sell hospital beds
Right.
and things like that. I guess what I'm saying is it has nothing to do with your appearance.
Okay.
And it's not an insult. I just think maybe what I'm
It
trying to pull
feels
from-
like an insult.
No, is I think the perfect woman for you is not in the body or the face of this, but reflects a lot of the isms of
Okay.
an elderly woman.
Ah, okay.
I think you need to find a 40-something woman
Who lives
who
life.
lives life as if she's 80.
I need
That's
Liz.
what you are.
That Liz Lemon.
This is what I'm saying.
Liz
That's why
Lemon
it's
was
not an
going through
insult.
this.
You need a Liz Lemon.
Okay.
Wow, Liz Lemon is cute.
Oh, I'm aware.
Sure.
Out of my league.
I have one question for Ray. I know you can answer it too, but I know
Sure.
your answer
So
already.
it was not an insult. It was like a nice.
And then we're gonna have a choose your own adventure to close the pod.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
either Ray's terrible story,
I don't think it's going to happen.
or do we talk about hot dogs? Okay, so here's the question.
This is Chuck's
Choose your-
babysitting
choose your own
service.
adventure. Yeah. Hot dogs are an adventure.
Either this guy's going to tell a story I don't know, or hot dogs.
If I got you a Christmas present
Yep.
and you said, "Oh, it's a nice Christmas present, thank you very much," and you opened it, and what was in it was one of the original Talk Boys from Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Like not one in the movie, just like one of the ones that was on retail at the time.
Yeah.
Would you be happy to receive that or not happy?
Here's the problem. I would be immediately happy, and then later on, reality would kick in where I'd go, where am I going to fucking put this? You know what I mean? I would want it. It's that immediate thing that I think happens with a lot of these objects.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, I want that. I want that thing, right?
Yeah.
And then a lot of times I will get that thing because it's become an object of my obsession. I have to have
desire.
it.
Yeah.
My desire.
My desire.
An object of my desire.
Zorro.
And I get it. And then I'm left with like a hangover of getting the high of getting the thing, the coveted
Yeah.
thing. Ooh, I'm Gollum in this situation. My precious talk boy.
Yep.
Eventually I get to a place where I'm like, I guess I'll put it here. Yeah, that feels good. That's where the talk boy goes.
Hey, Finn, you love Home Alone too, right?
I think
Oh no, I don't want him to have it. He'll fuck it up. He'll break it by just doing too many times into it. But here's the problem though. And then I find a place for it and I put it there, and then ultimately I feel. Eventually, it just becomes background, right? And then I'm like, oh man, I really like that thing, but now it's just an object instead of being like, oh, this object. Now it's like, oh, that's another thing that I have to pack at some point, or someone else will have to pack when I die. You know what I mean? Truly.
I will say this is one of the reasons, like we talked about the turtle hunt.
Yeah.
I think I hide behind holidays because the stuff can come out
Yep.
for a short amount of time. We're celebrating a thing. I put it back. It never becomes wallpaper to me.
Right,
because it's
right,
only
yeah.
there for a short amount of
Sure,
time every
yeah,
year,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is kind of the
Yeah.
direction I've gone.
No, I have a couple of those things like Halloween. The
Home
big
Alone
one.
2 would work for that.
Yeah, for sure. Like you were there for one of the things that became like a very real, heartfelt family tradition in my house.
The figures?
Yeah, the little Halloween wooden figures. There, we were in Vermont for a festival thing,
Right.
TV pilot festival, and it was myself, Chuck, and Derek Furtado and Lee Leshin were with us. It was for Independent, and there was this shop where this guy hand carved these wooden figures, all very like Vermonty things,
Yeah.
like Christmassy things, stuff like that. And he also had other wood carvers' work that he would sell at the shop. And he was closing the shop for good. He was retiring.
Yeah.
And so we went in and we looked around, and he had these Halloween figures that are little trick-or-treaters.
They're fucking awesome.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
The color is perfect. It's not too bright, the coloring.
Yeah.
It's more muted, like tones of the color. Does that make sense?
Closer to earth tones.
Yeah. So instead of like a bright orange, it's like a burnt orange. Like it's more subdued. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these little wooden figures. There's like a Superman kid.
Yeah.
There's a devil
Yeah.
kid,
Right.
like a witch kid.
Yeah.
And then a little jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
And I loved them.
And I
And
loved
they're-
them too. And
Yeah.
my cheapskate kicked in, and I said, "I'm out. This is
Yeah,
too
they're
rich
too
for my
they're too
blood."
expensive because they're hand carved
Of course,
and
yeah,
painted.
they're awesome.
This isn't something where there's a lot of stuff that is mass manufactured
Right.
that's made to look like that thing,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Go to any touristy area, you'll find these little wooden things. This was made by a guy, and
Right.
I talked to the guy that owns the shop, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's whoever. That's Harvey Steves. He makes that stuff." I'm like, "Wow, Harvey Steves. That's Steve Harvey backwards." Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to get them, but they were a little too much money. And then Lee Leshin, being the mensch that he is, bought the figures and gave them to me.
Lee Leshin keistered them, and we got them out of the store for free.
Yeah, you're gonna love them. They stink.
Yes.
But no, he gave them to me, and he said it's because you said in the shop, I want to get those because those will come out every Halloween with Finn.
Yes.
And they'll become a family tradition.
Right.
And he's like, so I had to do it. I had to get them. And I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Lee. I know you watch every episode. You're watching this right now because he will often, give me quick updates on things we need to improve.
Yep.
This sound came off too much. We need to fix that. You know what I mean? He's a big fan and vocal about his criticism. It's very funny.
No, but that's so.
But yeah, so
I think
those
I
became
hide
that
behind
tradition.
that because so it never
Yeah,
becomes
yeah, that's fun. That is a fun idea. I
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow, we
fin-
talked a lot about collecting today. I didn't.
Right.
Man, we are on a run of shows where it's just like, here's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
I guess we'll do it next time.
Yep.
And I will say to close the show, big ending, hot dogs.
Yes.
And Brad's big
Hot
question:
dogs.
How are they
Credits
hot
rolling
dogs?
Music. Credits
Yes.
rolling music.
For Brad, how are they hot dogs if I just swallow them cold?
Is that what you wanted to get to?
Well, he's
Just
hot.
that line? Is that what you wrote down?
Hey.
Oh, I got a good hot dog burn on this motherfucker.
No. I think hot dogs are really funny.
Yeah.
And Brad eats hot dogs constantly, and I think it's hilarious.
I mean, constantly is overstating.
How
But
many hot,
it's in his ancestry. You know what I mean? Like,
how many hot dogs have you eaten in the past month?
I probably eat 4 hot dogs a week. I probably have 2 hot dogs for dinner twice a week because they are
you're having twice a week hot dog dinners?
Probably have twice a decade hot dog
I missed
dinners.
that divorced man next to the hungry man frozen dinner at the refrigerator.
they are
aisle.
inexpensive, and I don't have a job, so ergo,
right, okay.
easy.
Air
like,
Bud.
Air Bud.
I love that.
It's a 60-second in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Then take the dogs out, put the buns in for 11
He calls them
seconds.
tepid dogs.
Yeah. Topping.
What are the toppings?
Eat. All right, it's just ketchup. I was hoping we could skirt past that. The week we went up to that you drove us, I think the rental car visit to Staten Island.
Yeah.
Near New York City. I had eaten a bunch of hot dogs that week.
That's right, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, all right, I saw a thing about air fryer chili cheese dogs. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, let me try that. And the first two, not great. They were tepid. And so I was like, I got to refine this recipe. And then I have to finish the package of hot dog buns before
Yeah.
the trip. And so I had like 4 consecutive hot dog based meals. And then we got in the car for a 4-hour drive. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
And we stopped at a diner for dinner.
Yeah.
And you had a hot dog.
I had
No.
hot dogs. I had to see if Connecticut hot dogs were different.
Yeah.
But I think hot dogs are just funny. Like I think hot dogs are really.
Hot dogs are funny, and
a
like I
weird
said
food.
earlier, like hot dogs have become a delivery system for a full meal.
Yeah.
On top of it,
Yeah.
that's when I check out. I will say,
Oh come on! You like a Chicago dog.
I will fuck up a Chicago dog. I
yeah.
love a Chicago dog. On with Ray and Derek, one of our last episodes that we did, I had just been to Chicago, and we did an episode of the podcast that was called DTH, Down to Hot Dog,
Yeah.
right? Instead of DTF.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that.
Down to the hot dog, dude. Oh yeah, you got to get a dog.
Yep.
And it was we were talking about the idea of doing a tour where we are covering all of America's hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
We go region by
love it.
region.
I love it.
And we eat the dogs and we decide what the best dog is because they are all different in
Yep.
in so many different places.
For sure, yeah.
You know, you go to Hawaii, a hot dog there is very different
Yep.
than going to Chicago and getting a Chicago dog.
Yeah.
In Maine, we have a whole thing. One is red snappy hot dogs.
Yeah.
A red hot dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a fucking dog's dick is
Yeah.
what this thing is.
Yes.
There was a place called Flo's that was a shack on the side of the road.
Love a shack.
Yep.
This shack was open like 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
The people that started it lived in the back. They opened this shack
Back
up.
of the shack.
Yeah, and they had a sauce that they would put on it, like a Flo's the way you're supposed to, quote unquote, get it.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of mayo and then this Flo's sauce.
okay.
Sounds weird.
Yes,
but
it does.
Yeah, it does. But I was skeptical, and then I had it, and I went, oh, got it.
Okay.
To the point where Heinz tried to buy Flo's recipe.
Wow.
And Flo
said no?
Said no.
Flo said no go?
Flo said no go. They're in the back of the
Yo.
shack.
Yeah.
Yo, Flo said no go. Bro. Yo, bro. Flo said no go. To the dough. Faux show.
I just think
Said the dough was too low.
I mean I like a hot dog as much as anybody else. I think it's
But not as much as me.
I think it's hilarious. Like you eat hot dogs and gas station rib sandwiches, and then you
I
wonder about
stopped
Yeah.
eating gas station
Why
rib
do
sandwiches.
I poop water? Why am I pooping such sloppy water?
I have probably eaten one gas station rib sandwich in the past 12 months. not that I don't have a craving for them all the time. I am like a vampire in search of blood. Except
Saying all of this to some poor Cumbies person
Yeah.
behind the register,
Yeah,
and you're
like-
like, I'm like a vampire with a thirst for your riblet sandwich. And they're like, are you going to get gas or
we should go
something?
to Joff's together this season.
I won't go there. I
You have
refuse.
to-
I
it's
will
really
not eat at
good.
a JOFF.
It's very good, and I don't like your
Nope.
cultural judgments.
Joff.
It's
No.
really good.
Oh, the other thing about
instead of going to Joff's, let's go to that Aryan place.
That Aryan place.
I will say this about hot dogs. Okay, as a child, like hot dogs are a fucking huge deal, right?
Yes.
Are they not?
Yeah.
That's
No,
that's from my
absolutely.
I think
childhood.
something happened to him when he was 11. Mm-hmm. That's where it stopped. It all stopped moving forward.
But here's my thing with
not
with a hot dog. Isn't it amazing?
not true,
I don't
it's
know about
12.
you guys, and maybe it's just me and my childhood, but
Yeah.
like there was a place that my grandmother would always take me because it was near her house called Marty's. It was like a seafood shack kind of place.
Okay.
It's the kind of place they got a little boat on the inside of the
Oh,
building,
all right.
and kids can climb on it and
Nice.
shit.
Very nice.
To this day, that is my high bar for French fries.
Oh, okay.
Is Marty's. Get the fuck out of here. You ready for this? Since we're talking about dogs and the fries came up right now. I'll finish this and then we'll go to the fries.
Okay, I got a
Write down hot fries.
fries.
Something about when I was a kid, hot dogs were cool, but you go to a restaurant that had a foot-long hot dog, and suddenly things are different.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Am I crazy?
No,
I
no,
feel like the
100%
foot-long
right.
hot dog, like as a child, that's like the lobster thermidor
Yes.
of food,
Yeah.
where you're just like, oh, the foot-long
Yeah.
hot dog. Yes, sir, we'll have the foot-long hot dog. You know, isn't that's crazy? It's like it's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was like, this is the pinnacle of human achievement.
Yeah.
Nothing can
Completely
beat
agree.
the foot-long hot dog.
I love it. I love a foot long.
Yeah, it's very funny. Oh, the fries.
Yes.
Here's the pinnacle of French fries to me. This is my own personal taste. Listen, French fries can be a divisive topic,
Right.
amongst people.
Yep.
I get that. Like everybody's got their own fast food French fry that they
Yep.
love. I think we can all agree when it comes to French fries and fast food, though. Burger King is just fucking around. They don't know what
Did
they're
you see
doing.
my recent post about
I
this?
did, and I agree wholeheartedly. Burger King French fries are an insult to all French friedom. Are you saying thumbs down to Burger King or thumbs down to my opinion?
I'm saying thumbs down to Burger King French fries.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Tonight we go for the king. What are they doing with those French fries?
It's so bizarre.
It's like someone described a French fry to someone that had never seen or tasted one.
Chat GPT made their French fry.
That's what happened. And they're like, I guess this is a French fry. Anyway, my favorite French fry,
Yeah.
Marty's French fries, crinkle cut.
okay.
Best.
I fucking love a crinkle cut.
Best.
That's the pinnacle to me. Also, not soggy, no softness, right? Little crispy.
Yep.
Crinkle cut fry. Perfect. I think I love French fries so much because I don't eat fast food.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I never go to
mean-
fast food.
That's why I love French fries. It's like I allow myself to eat French fries so rarely that it feels like a delicious cheesecake.
For me, is like because I don't do fast food. I think people that do fast food, like they have French fries all the time.
Yeah.
It comes with like all of them.
Yes.
And you don't make French fries at home.
No.
Right.
You make an attempt.
Yeah.
It's never going to be French fries, right? In my house, we have like air fried slices of potato.
Yeah, yeah.
I like them. I
Yeah.
still love a good potato wedge.
Yeah.
It's not a French fry.
No.
No.
So for me, like whenever we eat out at restaurants or anything like that, I'm always just like, oh boy, French fries.
me too.
You know,
Me
because
too.
I so rarely do it. But yeah, I love a good crinkle cut. So Funbearable. Where do you? What's your best kind of fry?
That's what I was just
Mine's
trying to
crinkle
figure
cut.
out. I don't know. I know the first time I had shoestring fries at Steak and Shake was an epiphanical moment.
That's great.
for me.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't love a shoestring.
I don't love necessarily a shoestring by itself if French fries are the main thing.
Yeah.
But with Steak and Shake
Sure.
together,
yeah.
it feels a little
A
different.
shoestring fry to me, I'm like too much work.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I'm just grabbing handfuls. And
Yeah.
cramming them in.
Yeah.
I
He's tying his shoes with them.
Frisky Fries is in Providence.
Have you been there?
No.
It's great.
They have some, it's like a Chinese food container, and they fill it with fries and then put the toppings on it. So you can get the chili cheese,
Oh,
of the
that's fun.
classic.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get one with like Rhode Island wiener sauce and chopped up hot dogs and mustards and
Love
onions.
that.
Speaking of hot dogs, Rhode Island can go fuck itself
No,
with its hot
no.
dog.
Rhode Island
And I'll
wieners
say
are
it.
the best.
I'll say it. Rhode Island's
Yeah.
hot wiener, when I moved here and people were like, you gotta have a hot wiener, I was like, okay, well, give me a month to get over the name and then we'll move on. And then
Childish.
you're saying childish? I'm gonna fucking throw everything out here.
Childish.
Philistine.
How did Funbearable end? Well, a hot dog based
wieners.
murder. Yeah.
No, the Rhode Island. If you're from Rhode Island and you're listening and watching this, it's like, okay, you get what this is, and you have a weird fucking chest thump about it. This is Chuck all over. Yeah, the hot wiener. I think it's a telling thing that you are not from Rhode Island, and you're not like, you're wrong. You are already like, fuck you. This is wrong.
It is.
You're
You don't
wrong.
get it. I don't even know which one you had, but you're wrong.
So the hot wiener is like, yeah, here you go. And it's got mustard and onion on it. Fine. And then this hot
Meat sauce.
beef relish.
No, it's not relish.
They call it like a meat relish
No, I've never.
or
heard
whatever.
that.
But it's a meat sauce.
It's a meat sauce, and then they have celery
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah, exactly. But the meat sauce is like pasty. It's not like saucy. It's pasty. It's like a little bit runnier than refried beans. I guess is close.
It's really tough because
it's like a thick chili, but it's not because it's so minced and tiny. There's no chew to it. There's nothing in it. It's
here's what's tough is that everyone they'll be like, here's what it is, and
Yeah.
then there's a million variations on it.
Yeah.
So like the main one that people point to in Rhode Island is Onlyville System.
Yeah.
And I actually think that one is like okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the one at Rod's Grill is way superior. The hot wieners and the sauce. I'll put it this way: the reason I'm saying it is because the way you described the beef, is not the way that I would it on it. The Rod's Grill one is very different.
It's just so strange to me, and like the Rhode Island has a weird chest thump about their food. Like every place.
First of all, every place
I just
has
said
the same thing.
I just said every place does.
Yeah.
But Rhode Island, for being the smallest state in the country, has too many "this is our food" things.
I think it's probably hard for you living in Rhode Island to be like Idaho doesn't have this. You know what I mean? You probably just because you don't live there, you don't know if they have that different stuff.
Yeah, but I've lived in Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts.
All those places have a ton of things I could name.
Yeah, but like Maine is like
I've lived in
lobster
Indiana, and I can tell
blueberries.
you that the Asian food scene in Indiana.
yeah. Is non-existent, but the Oriental food scene
What I was
is
gonna
booming.
say.
But my point was, like, like the Rhode Island hot dog is fucking weird.
Oh, it's delicious.
But to go, my final proof of Rhode Island's weirdness about food. I know you're upset about this, but you got to hear the truth at some point. You got hot dogs. You got clams, obviously, right? Clam
chowder and
cakes
clam
and clam
cake.
cakes.
Yeah.
Right. And then because like I'm from Maine, where it's like blueberries and lobster.
Blueberries, huh?
Yeah, blueberries, Maine blueberries. But like that's kind of it. You know what I mean? In terms of like statewide, this is what we're going to show you. Really, it's lobster. You know, you can get into like this city has this, but that doesn't go down to state, right? Rhode Island, clam cakes, clam chowder.
Yes.
You've got the hot wieners.
Yes.
Dell's lemonade.
I wonder if that counts as like a thing here, or is it like a brand? It's a little different to me.
That kind of lemonade is definitely like its own thing.
It's very similar to water ice.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not the same thing. And even still, it would be weird where like Rhode Island's looking over at Philadelphia and going, no, we have it too. We do that too, right? Anyway.
Well, go ahead.
No, sorry. There's some other thing that's
Bakery pizza.
Coffee milk.
Not that. Oh yeah, coffee milk. That's what I wanted to
Coffee
say.
milk rules.
Coffee milk is a thing, which is just a coffee sauce, like a Hershey's chocolate, only it's coffee, and you put that in your milk. And then finally, the thing that shows Rhode Island is fucking insane is pizza strips.
See, here's what's interesting. You know, you just said the thing about like, oh, we have that too.
Yeah.
Here's what I think happens all over the country, and you can't have a knowledge of this unless you actually have firsthand experience, is I think that a lot of places actually have the exact same "this is ours."
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not saying Chicago Dog is this, but like there's gonna be some other place that has like the same thing. And what happened was like New York is kind of spread into different areas. Like actual like northern New York is very different than
for sure,
whatever.
of course.
So my buddy Frank Five was coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "I'm bringing you a delicacy from northern New York, Saratoga." He's like, "This is the stuff that we're known for. It's the best stuff." He's like, "I'm bringing you this very special thing." I said, "Oh, I'm very excited for a regional treat."
Mm-hmm.
Came to my house, took out a box. He goes, "This is tomato pie," and he opened a bakery pizza, and it's identical.
Yeah.
It is the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But it's just called a different thing.
Here's the problem though. Like I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
I have worked in Saratoga for 7 or 8 years now. I have never seen tomato pie in the wild. Ever,
Oh no, it's
right?
a huge thing. I'm not.
Well,
No, I understand.
It's baked. It doesn't just grow, right?
I understand. But what you were saying, like when you started with a very what you might not have realized statement was what you might not know.
Well, I mean,
I think you said the royal you, like a you.
I
know,
think when
you don't know because you haven't been there.
it's not
how you
it's,
opened.
It's more like if there is something like, let's say, Dell's Lemonade,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty ubiquitous to like the three of us. Like someone who lives in even Connecticut probably doesn't know about that.
Sure.
So like anything that's outside of this that is a similar
Yeah.
thing, you just wouldn't know.
But to be fair, like I travel and I have lived in different states. And you said Saratoga. I've been to Saratoga many times.
Well, yeah, but I think that like
Let me finish the statement though that
Yeah,
I was trying to say. I've never seen tomato pie in any convenience store I've ever been in Saratoga. I have seen pizza strips, Rhode Island thing, in so many convenience stores, gas stations.
Yeah, right next to the rib sandwiches.
we could easily prove this right now, but it's obvious the answer that would happen.
We would have to drive to Stewart's.
No, I would
the
just say-
convenience stores
I was like-
in upstate New York.
I'm friends with Mark Normand. We're all friends with him.
Sure.
He tours. He's been here a million times. If I text him right now and I go, "Have you seen pizza strips in Rhode Island?" He would say, "I don't know what that is."
Well, he probably wouldn't know what pizza strips are. You know what I mean?
Just like you wouldn't know what tomato pie is.
No,
What's the difference?
I'm saying I've been to Saratoga a million times.
Mark's
I've
been here a
never
million
seen
times.
tomato pie, but I saw pizza strips like immediately before I lived here. I didn't live here and see pizza strips. Like when I was visiting my wife,
You think they're like more
my wife's
popular
family
here.
or whatever. The pizza strip thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I talked to my wife about it. I'm like, what the fuck are those? When I first like came to visit her parents here, I was like, what is that? Right? And she's like, oh, it's pizza strips. Like when you grow up in Rhode Island, like this is a birthday party staple.
Yes.
Everybody gets pizza strips.
That's different.
That's why it's a thing, right?
That's different. Well,
Why is it different? Because it's
because I
it's
think if
proving
you-
my point and not yours.
No, because I think if I dated someone that lived in a specific
Yeah.
place and I went to a party with their family at that place and saw like a party thing,
Yeah.
I think doing that somewhere else where I don't have the same experience wouldn't give me that. So if you go to Saratoga and you do
Yeah.
comedy there, but you don't date someone whose family lives there, you probably won't get as much of the culture of that place as you would as if you dated someone whose family is
of
there.
Of course. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
that's what I'm
like,
saying.
I mean, yeah. There's going to be stuff that you're not going to know just like driving through a place.
Exactly.
But there are things that kind of do bubble up enough, right? Like I've been to Wisconsin 3 times, but I have been shown
Cheeseheads?
fried cheese curds all 3 times, right? Like that's a thing.
Yes. Yeah.
We do cheese curds.
For sure.
Right?
Different places have like, this is our thing.
Yeah, you go to
Yeah.
Minneapolis,
Yeah.
and it's like you got to hear about the 3 versions of like the Juicy Lucy burger. You know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
it's all really
Maine's
tricky.
lobster thing is way more prevalent than like whatever. I mean, like Idaho's
Yeah.
potato thing.
Oh, sure. Like
is-
someone who's never been to Rhode Island, if you go, what's their food? They would go clam stuff, clam
Seafood.
chowder,
Right.
And I get that, but moving here was an eye opener of like, you guys have so many things that you go, that's Rhode Island's, right? That's my point. That's what I'm
I
saying.
think-
Growing up in Maine, it was like, yeah, we have lobster, and then like, oh yeah, Maine blueberries, like they're good because they're from here.
Yeah.
But nobody's like, we do
I wonder-
fucking
it's-
beef
It's
stew
funny. I
too.
think
You know what I mean?
I might have used Iowa as like an intro thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there are certain states that basically
Don't have shit.
like don't have a specific?
I think they have stuff that I think every state, it's just a part of humanity.
Yeah.
Will have things that they identify themselves with as food items, like Skyline chili
Yeah,
is like a thing.
Yeah.
I think you go to different
thought was
places.
weird.
Yeah, there are places that
Delicious
have
stuff.
food where I can't remember what it's called now, but there's a thing that the way they make it's disgusting and probably dangerous because it's like raw meat. And I can't remember what it is now, but it's like a holiday time thing that they make. But it's so Midwestern. It is so like
How dare you?
it only exists in an aunt's house.
Yes.
Legally, you have to be an aunt for this item to exist, right? But I do think Rhode Island has per capita for size of state. I think it's very funny that Rhode Island is the smallest state, but has so many things that they go, no. This is ours. right?
You know what's a funny one? Because like Texas, I associate with barbecue.
Yeah.
And Mexican food or Tex-Mex, and I wonder if there. I'm thinking about talking to Lou, who works in the culinary scene there. Are there specific things that we don't know about? But I guess biscuits is a big one too, probably, or something like that.
Sure, that's more southern.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, no, it is.
Y'all
it is a
got to
funny
get
thing.
some Dallas Fort Worth pizza.
Oh, sweet tea is a big thing.
Oh wait, we never figured out the French fry thing.
Well, so this you never asked me about French fries. That's what I was trying to get to.
I wanted to know. Well, we got into a thing because I made a joke about Rhode Island, and you're like, "That is not how it works here. We're a perfect state, and everybody's normal."
This is his joke. Let me just fucking say, in Rhode Island, they have so. And it's like, how are we not going to respond to it? But
I'm
I
making
have,
a comedic conceit.
I know, I
I'm
know.
doing.
I
I'm
have a
doing the
French-
angle of like, you guys are crazy.
I have
you know?
a French fry thing though.
Oh, good. What's that?
Oh,
First of
did
all-
it clear up?
The crinkle cut thing.
Yeah.
Go to Miller's. They're my favorite crinkle cut French fries.
All right.
Miller's roast beef. My favorite French fry.
Sorry. Miller's famous sandwiches.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Legally, they can't call it roast beef.
They changed it because they don't want people to think that all they have is roast beef in that thing. Every year, Brad and I have this thing we do called the turtle hunt. In the same month,
Did you just have a stroke and go back an hour and 20 minutes into this episode?
in the same month,
Yeah.
we also do a thing every year called Pumpkin Day. Hold on, wait a minute.
I can't believe I tried to have a cogent like debate with you about something,
No,
and then
no.
you reveal like I celebrate Pumpkin Day annually with my little best friend over here.
when we when we used to go. You know what I'm gonna say, don't you? We used to.
Brad is so far away from the mic. He's like, I'm not on this episode anymore.
All this talk of hot dogs has me hungry.
I know. Oh, I'm sure all the comments are going to be like, "How dare you talk about those things for so long? Now I want a hot dog," and they'll be mad at us.
So-
they'll be mad because we talked about a nice thing.
So here's what it was. Shartner's Farm.
What?
Shartner's Farm.
Pardon?
Shartner.
I would like to.
SCH.
I would like to include Shartner's Farm with my Joff's lawsuit that I have going on.
So Shartner-
Shartner's Farm.
So Shartner's Farm. We used to go get pumpkins there. They had a big witch made out of hay. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And one of the things they do is going to be Ray approved. I'm telling you right now.
At Shartner's.
They grow potatoes, and out in the field,
Okay.
they have a booth with a fryolator,
Uh huh.
and they cut the potatoes,
Yeah.
and they cut them there, and they fry them right then and serve you.
Sounds great.
And it's made when we go there.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the tragic story of what happened. I'm just going to say right now. I'm not even joking.
Did you think you had to?
No, you just shouldn't have a fryolator in a potato field. And I'm going to tell you what happened. So we would go there and
Yeah.
we'd be like, let's get those fucking French fries. And they would do it. And they're
Yeah.
the ones that are like, that's the whole thing curled. It was,
Oh, yeah,
those
yeah.
are my favorite.
I would say I start looking forward to them like on Pumpkin Boxing Day.
So
Wow. So a full 364 days you're looking
they're
forward
they're
to.
amazing.
They're like I had never had fries that fresh before.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
they're incredible. Unfortunately, they don't make them anymore because Shartner burned down his whole farm by accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some say it was the fryolator in the fields.
Yep.
Others don't want to acknowledge that.
So, in a lot of ways, you could say that Farmer Shartner thought he was going to do one minimal thing,
Yep.
but accidentally did a huge catastrophic thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So yeah.
So we all get what I was doing.
yeah, this is starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
He
yeah.
shit his pants.
So
His
that-
overalls.
I'd say that's my top fry, the Shartners.
It's a delicious fry.
Much like your Marty's.
Let's start a new
Is it
list.
Martiners or Marty's?
Marty's.
Marty's?
MARTY''S. Marty's.
That's not very weird.
Nope.
I like
Pretty
Shartner,
straightforward.
Joffs, Plingos.
Pump Carpo. You know, basically anybody that Boba Fett's trying to catch is where I want to eat. I want to eat where Boba Fett's catching.
I just want
Josh
places
Shartner.
that describe the ethnicity
Yeah,
using
yeah.
archaic, probably offensive terms
That's
of
fair.
what I'm going to eat.
Brad's like, my favorite food is from a place called Oscar Myers.
I had a peach cobbler one time at this beautiful restaurant called Mongoloid Steaks.
I I would go there.
He was wonderful.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's
He was
a-
his brother was Harvey Steve.
Oh, and then he got found out.
Yeah,
No, I don't know why there was a weird little mini
No, I
argument
think,
that we
I
had,
think
but it's just
easily,
it's fine.
I think it's easily disproven.
Okay, that's fair.
Road trip.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
I would.
fine.
By the way,
What?
if there was a show that's like we're gonna find the signature foods of every location?
Yeah, for sure.
How fucking
Yeah,
amazing would
well,
that be?
Derek Furtado and myself on with Ray and Derek, we talked about doing, this hot dog thing, DTH down to hot dog, and just trying all of them. I want to know. I mean, I think that happens with so much stuff. There's pizza that's like this place's pizza.
We just went to the New
You know,
Haven.
Yeah.
as much as I love a Chicago hot dog, I will absolutely besmirch the Chicago style deep dish pizza. Not
Besmirch?
a fan. Besmirch it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had a true.
It's an acquired taste.
true deep dish Chicago pizza. I don't think I've ever had
It's
one.
not pizza. That's my issue.
Casserole.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
Of dough?
The dough is very thin and very like pie crusty, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest is all in there, and so it's like, hey, do you like toppings? Not cooked like direct heat, just steamed inside the sauce that's in it. No, thank you.
I gotta try this.
not for me.
I've probably had deep dish pizza fewer than 10 times in my life,
Yeah.
despite growing up there, because I've had like different styles of pizza.
Yeah,
That's all.
it's tricky. I think Pizza Hut fucked up everybody's idea of what deep dish pizza
Yeah.
is, because that's a
probably
different
true.
thing.
Yeah.
And Uno's has not done anybody a good
Nope,
a good thing at
they
all.
have not.
But no, I do think it is a thing. Like I will go to bat continually that Rhode Island does have a bigger than its britches food identity. They have grabbed too many things off the shelf and said that's ours. That's my point of what I was saying before.
I think it's probably comparable, but it's probably difficult to know.
The irony of the size of the state is funny to me. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if you took the square mileage of Rhode Island and moved it to other states, you
Yeah.
wouldn't find that many food identities, regardless of the state. Like this part of South Dakota does not have as many food identities
Correct.
as Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It is funny to me. It's just a comedy.
You've never
moment.
had Badlands hot dogs.
Yeah.
They're coated in dust. And the tears of the native tribes we've resettled.
Yeah.
I didn't make the hot
No.
dog.
The
That's
Dakotas,
South
the
Dakotas.
Dakotas have a troubled history of their food items, sure.
You know what? Much of America has
Yeah.
troubled history.
Do you know what the Dakotas put on their hot dogs? No?
Nope.
Land rights. Oh, yeah. They put land rights on a hot dog. I didn't know what I was going to say when I started the sentence. No. What else? What else can we do? So your favorite fry is that
Shartner's.
a Shartner's?
Yep.
And that's like a twisted up fry.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think that if you're like, oh, you prefer that type of fry necessarily, it's not that. It's what they do there.
Yeah.
Even if they were like, this year we're doing crinkle cut, this we're doing steak fries, I think it has to do with the quality
That's
of what
fair.
they're doing.
And if it wasn't there, what are you going with? Because for me, I get pumped for a crinkle cut anywhere.
I was just gonna say, I think Miller's French fries,
Miller's does have good crinkle cuts.
they're really, really
Those are
good.
crinkles?
Yeah. And
Cool.
the fries at Frisky Fries, which is like a small chain around here, the quality is wicked high because they
That's their thing.
That's their
Yeah.
thing. So they make the quality high, but it's so much about the toppings.
Yeah.
And they're great. If you ever get a chance, one of them is
No.
it's barbecue pork with a wasabi coleslaw on
No,
top of it.
I'm not doing it.
So good.
Can I tell you why?
No.
I am boycotting Frisky Fries
Oh, why's that?
because they ruined my whole business plan.
Which was?
Risky Fries.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping promiscuous fries.
No, I was going Risky Fries.
All right. These fries might have thumbtacks in them.
You know, it's
Pretty
all
risky.
like it's like you pick one topping, we pick the other.
Oh, that
Maybe it's
is
great.
risky.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's great. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not great.
All right. I'll
Depends
take.
on if we like you.
You ever have chocolate horseradish fries?
No.
They suck.
All right. I'll pick peanut butter as my topping.
Oh.
Jelly, fluff.
Peanut butter and jelly French fries? I bet it could work.
Yeah.
Honestly. You know what's fun about a French fry? A good French fry is perfect.
Yes.
Oh.
But you could take that very same perfect French fry
Yep.
and wait 3 minutes
Yep.
and it's awful.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Nothing worse than cold fries.
Yep.
And it's 2023. We're putting little cars on other planets, as
Yeah.
I've said before.
Yep.
And yes, I am trying to become the new Alex Jones.
I will-
When I grab the mic like this, you know it's for real.
I will
turns
say
the frickin' frogs.
we
gay.
had some great French fries
Turns the friggin' fries gay.
when we went together to the Poutine Indulgence Festival.
Oh, right. Yes, yes.
Remember when you
It was on Poutine Day.
Yeah.
and Brad had that big argument with the owner about unions.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
yeah.
pro-union.
That's good.
Chuck says, "Don't let the unions get in the way of my poutine."
Whatever gravy's my fries. Yeah. Hey, I know who gravy's my fries.
Yeah.
It's these union busters over here.
Yep.
You want me to throw a brick through a building? Not a problem.
Yep. Hey, give me some poutine. I'll throw 2 bricks.
Hell yeah. You putting curd and grave on that? Woo, curd grave. Love it. No, but what I was going to say is I can't believe we are at a place in 2023, especially with like pandemic stuff happening and like DoorDash becoming like a massive thing.
Yep.
People having food delivered to them constantly. How have we not figured out a way
To keep the French fries good.
to keep the French fries good?
I know.
Because no matter what, whenever I order from a place, like every once in a while, Kalina and I will have like a night with Finn where we're going to order from like a new place. We're going to try it out. We're going to do this. It started during quarantine,
Yeah.
where it got to a point where like, we need something different,
Yeah.
you know? And we would do that. And whenever there were fries, it was always just like, nah, the fries are,
Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
they're not going to make it.
I know.
How do we fix this?
All right.
I think that might be one of the things. It's just like ice cream. You can't get delivery ice cream.
All right. Well, food scientists out there, if you have ideas on ways to increase French fry yield,
I like that terminology.
send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or contact us through socials @funbearablepod.
And remember, if you're doing that, do or do not.
No, Ray, no.
There is no fry.
This podcast is ruined.
I think that's the only way you could ensure that the fries arrive at the right temperature and good. I think they'd have to do it like guacamole at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
And they'd have to bring the little cart over to your door and fry the fries in front of you.
All right.
It's not bad.
How about a fry your own fry restaurant?
Ooh.
It'll get
Yeah.
sued to oblivion.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got their own little boiling oil.
We had a waiver sign on the
pot.
door.
Hot pot.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Boiling oil.
Yeah.
Well, folks, yeah, we'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you for sticking around for this discussion about hot dogs.
We're not sure how to close this episode because none of this was intended.
Nope. No.
Hey, I owe you a story.
But thank you all so much for sticking around. We appreciate it very much. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohrer saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
I'm Brad Rohrer, the hot dog expert. Thank you so much. I think you should be the hot dog expert.
Okay.
That's your version of hot or not.
Are you hot or
Dog or
dog?
not?
Yeah, you come out. Oh, you could be like a less like machismo version of the Barstool Sports guy.
Oh, I hate that guy.
That's why you're doing less machismo. You want him to have
right.
more
Don't
or
say
less.
it on the podcast. He's got so many followers. The Barstool guy,
Yep.
he comes out with his pie. He's like, you know the rules. One bite, one just
Yeah.
fucking whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care for it either.
You can do that.
You could absolutely
You
walk
sound like
out of a
that.
place and go, you know, one bite,
Yeah.
and you bite the dog, and you're like, you know,
It tastes like a hot dog.
It's good. I
Well,
like
hold
it.
on. Brad would be like, I got it with nothing on it.
I know that's the problem. Is he would always get the same thing and just like one packet of ketchup on it, and then he's done. You bring your own packet.
Yep.
You know. Do you like a bun that's been on the griddle, or do you like a raw bun?
No, I can do as long as it's warm. I'm okay.
What if you don't like
steam-
a cold?
No, give me a steamed bun. Give me a grilled bun. Either way.
Which one do you prefer, grilled or steamed?
I think I grew up with steamed.
Yeah.
At Bozo's. Sorry.
That's right.
Boz's.
Boz's.
Yeah.
Thank
Boz's.
you, Ray.
All right,
So we're
let's-
going to Boz's, Joff's, and
Oh God! It's all people that
and
can't
Shartner's.
understand vowels.
Yep.
Balls, dog for a hot dog. A hot dog at Boz's.
Can we stop recording, please?
I mean, I'll keep going all fucking day. I don't give a shit.
Brad only eats at restaurants
How do we feel about guacamole?
with soft O's because it gets him in the mood for hot dogs. Joff's and Boz's.
Because, and let's go all the way back to the beginning of this episode, That's in his dating profile. He only likes a soft O.